Unsung Murder Ballads discusses topics of a disturbing nature.
And we're not going to hold back on the graphic details and disturbing content.
So we do not recommend our podcast for children under the age of 13.
And while we respect the victims and their families involved in these tragic cases,
we're also going to be critical of mistakes that are made during the investigations.
And we're going to use dark humor to express ourselves now and then.
So with that said, this podcast may not be for everyone.
And that's okay. We're glad you're here checking us out.
And if you've made it this far, welcome to the Unsung Murder Ballads family. And follow us on Instagram at Unsung Murder Ballads if you want to talk to us.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Unsung Murder Ballads. This is episode 114. I am Janus Dead.
I'm Jameson Dead.
And I'm Joyous Dead.
All right, so we are back. I mean, I say finally, but it's only been a week since our last episode. But that week we took off has really kind of messed with my head a little bit. So
yeah,
and
it's
time
weird
has been
having
really going weird.
Yeah, it really has.
Yeah, it really has. This month has felt like a year. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, January. What are we in? January 2027 at this point?
I swear to God. Well, we're in February
I wish.
now. Yeah, that would be a nicer year to be in. I agree. But who knows what?
I hope.
Who knows what 2027 will look like? Sometimes I don't even want to think about it.
I loathe to imagine.
Yeah, it's not the direction we're going in is not the direction I want to be going in, but we know we endure. That's what we do. All right, so
yes, we do.
Let's talk about what we're here for.
Yes. So this isn't exactly the teaser, but it's something that when I was researching this case came up in a weird way, and I was like, I want to discuss this first because it was a weird, we'll get into it. So have you guys ever heard the term e-girl?
Yep.
Yes.
Do you consider that to be a derogatory term?
No.
No.
When I was researching this case, there were multiple platforms that referred to e-girl as like almost an insult. And it was
it's like anything's an insult if you hate the person that you're saying it about.
I guess that's true, but it was like they were.
If you say like OnlyFans girl, to some people that's an insult.
Yes.
But to other people that's like just a job.
Agreed, but the way I heard it, the first time I heard it referred to as almost a derogatory comment. The person was being more apologetic that this person had the term e-girl attached to her. And I was like, that's weird because I know a lot of e-girls, and I never thought of it as a derogatory thing. So I figured I would ask you guys what you thought. Because, I mean, I think, Joyous, you would probably fall almost under that category in that you play a lot of online games and you do Discord. And, I'm assuming you do anyway.
Yeah. I'm a gamer girl.
Right, exactly. So maybe not e-girl, but you're a gamer girl. And so that's where I was kind of like, I don't remember that being derogatory.
Yeah.
So it was weird. And another thing I heard was, and we're going to discuss this as we go, some reports refer to the topic of this case as an Instagram influencer, when at the time that this all went down, she wasn't even close to an influencer. She didn't have the numbers in place for that. And that's something else that comes up a lot. You'll hear some people refer to her as that, and then some people will correct it and say, no, that wasn't the case. So
interesting.
Now I feel like the influencer thing, a lot of people base that strictly on numbers.
Yes.
To me, it's not always about numbers. It's about how much you see their content and what kind of content they're pushing.
Right, but the whole idea of an influencer is that you are out there getting other people to do what you're doing or to buy what you're pushing. So you have to have the numbers in place to get them to do that. So, for example, if you're following someone who only has 50 followers, you're buying whatever he or she is selling, but you might be the only person. That's not really an influencer.
I also feel like influencers aren't always monetized. Like there may be influencers out there that are emotional or mental or
but that's but you're not looking at it from the right point of view. The use of the term generally is about influencing consumerism, unfortunately.
That's where it differs for me, because I would still use the term influencer even if it wasn't monetized.
I think most things are monetized because often they get money from the platform itself. I think in my like vernacular, I would call anyone an influencer who like it's more of a numbers, but it's also like because in order to have influence, you must have the ability to have people following you, and I think all those things go hand in hand. Like I can't think of examples that don't fall into like
Right.
both of your definitions. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm just imagining someone who has, say, 30 followers and they're trying to influence you to adopt a dog for like from the
Right, yeah, no,
yeah,
30
that's
followers is not an influencer.
exactly. So that's what I mean. And while the subject of this episode definitely had more than 100 followers, I don't even think it was at 1,000 followers when the events took place.
Oh, rookie shit.
So that's what I'm saying. So when they refer to her as an influencer, I'm like, maybe.
So like a person with an Instagram account?
Yeah, right. So I had a friend of mine who first got me to sign up for Facebook when that was like a new thing, and
Mhm.
he was
Of
like,
course.
he was like, yeah, you just sign up for it. Blah blah. It's so much better than MySpace. Anyway, so I created an account, and within like 3 hours, I had 3 times as many people as friends than he did, and he was
Well, shock and awe.
yeah, right. But at the same time, I was like, yeah, I know more people than you do. That doesn't make me an influencer.
Yeah.
That's all. All right, so let's dive into this because yeah, we've rambled for 6 minutes now. So wow, that's
Nice.
our longest opening ramble.
I love
Excellent.
it.
Yap, friends.
Right? Let us know what you all think about how long that took. Oh, which reminds me, someone corrected something, not corrected, but updated me on something. The case of Sabrina Zunich, who killed her foster mother, the one who was influenced by her foster father, like abused
Yes.
by him.
Yeah.
Apparently he now goes by the name Drew. They've gone through transgender.
Oh.
So yeah, so I wanted to
Okay.
update that. I wasn't calling him Sabrina out of like spite or anything. It was literally out of ignorance. I did not know that he is now Drew. So I just wanted to update that as well.
Good to know. Thanks for the update.
You're welcome. All right, you ready? This teaser is super short. So here we go. In the early morning hours of July 14th, 2019, police in New York State received numerous calls about someone posting images of what appeared to be a body on social media.
Oof.
How'd they get away with that?
It wasn't caught right away, but we will address that later in the episode.
Interesting.
The man posting these images and videos called police himself, informing them that where he was, what he had done, and that he was then going to kill himself.
Oh, dear.
That escalated quickly.
When the first police officer arrived at the scene, the man stabbed himself in the neck and he laid down on a tarp he already had prepared, all the while posting it online.
Oh, like, is he like live streaming it?
Yeah,
What the fuck?
The interesting thing about that is it's unclear whether this individual was actually just clicking buttons and while he's bleeding out to upload photos, or if it was a live stream video, because none of that is available that I could find presently. Like
That
it
is
was
so twisted.
Yeah, I mean, it was all taken down fairly quickly. I'm sure if I dig deep enough into like the dark web kind of stuff, maybe I could find it, but that wasn't what I wanted. So
Right.
it's bad enough that I've seen the other images that I have seen.
Oof.
Yeah. So this is the tragic and incredibly sad case of Bianca Devins. So Bianca was born on October 2nd, 2001. Her mother was only 17 when she became pregnant, and Bianca's father was unfortunately distant and emotionally abusive, which we hear way too many times.
I was going to
Just
say that's just
so
the beginning
much.
of the recipe there.
Yeah. Her mother, Kim, did everything she could to support both Bianca and her sister, and Bianca was considered spirited and rambunctious. It's reported that Bianca would often argue with her father regarding his treatment of her mother and her sister. So she's
Damn, go off.
right. I mean, I'm picturing like this really strong-willed kid who just gets in the way regardless, like, trying to stop that abuse. That's awesome, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So Bianca was the type of person everyone wanted on their side, as she was unafraid of conflict and always did what she thought was right. She was a caring person who took the time to get to know people when most others wouldn't even bother. A school friend of hers would later say that Bianca was the only person in his high school that was nice to him and was the only person that tried to get to know him. As is often the case, Bianca was able to give so much love and compassion to everyone else, but didn't give any to herself. According to her mother, Kimberly, when Bianca entered middle school, it was like a switch had flipped and Bianca lost interest in everything. Now, personally, I think that's probably a sign of like maybe an unknown source of abuse or trauma that maybe her mother wasn't aware of, or maybe a hormonal imbalance. I don't know enough, but
Right. It just sounds like depression, but
yeah, something.
middle school sucks.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. So it was reported that Bianca went from being super popular to being shy and shutting herself off in social situations. She even began having trouble simply going outside. And she,
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
and she almost entirely retreated into herself. Now, her struggles with mental illness, specifically depression, anxiety, borderline personality disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder, were a concern for her loved ones.
That's a tough combo. Poor kid.
That's a
The
lot.
borderline personality disorder, that definitely stems from trauma. Like, that's hardcore.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think something happened. I don't think it's just hormonal, but again, there's no information.
Absolutely not.
So she had been in and out of hospitals receiving mental health treatment for much of her teen years. None of the doctors could tell her mother what had happened to cause such a change in her, and they kept telling her it was just growing pains.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Yeah, I would be pretty pissed, and I would find like a second opinion if that was me.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So having experienced feelings of isolation, Bianca found refuge in online communities. She became obsessed with anime, Minecraft, and meme culture, which, who hasn't? Right?
Well, I mean, good things
Truly.
to distract you.
Right. She enjoyed spending time online, becoming the person she felt she was like deep inside through her online personas. But she used names like Switchblades and Bia and Oxycontin and things like that.
Edgy, yeah.
Yeah. So in the real world, her high school classmates began to bully her. Now, Bianca was 5'10", and she was pale, and other students didn't really relate to her interests. So, of course, the bullying, that was going to happen because she's different. But unfortunately, it wasn't limited to just the halls of her high school. It actually also happened online as well.
It's really awful.
So Bianca was also dealt with. She also dealt with online harassments by incels for at least 2 years by the year of 2019.
Lord.
Yeah, and we've talked about incels repeatedly. These fuckers need to go away.
Yeah.
And she's a beautiful girl. We're gonna post photos. She was a beautiful girl, and the fact that these assholes just decided to take their aggression out on her is crap. But again,
That's exactly what they do.
That's what they do. So, interestingly, Bianca's behavior with those that she was close to started to become erratic. She would listen to people talk about their problems in their lives, but when she was asked to talk about her own, she'd lie and make up stories. She told one friend that she was Jewish when she wasn't.
Yeah.
She told another...
What an interesting lie.
Right? She told another friend that she had been diagnosed with autism when she hadn't. She
That's
also
a hell of a
say
lie.
that.
It's such a weird thing. Yeah. She also told one boyfriend that she was Asian, but then later told
What?
Yeah, but then later she told him she was Cuban.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And
Well, I
once
guess you could be both.
you could be both, yes. But her behavior was, as she's doing this, everyone just kept chalking it up to being a teenage girl. Unfortunately. So after Bianca began having issues suddenly, like she just had these issues with loud noises, and she started having panic attacks at the thought of going outside.
Ooh.
So her mother decided that she would homeschool her. This is when she was formally diagnosed with the borderline personality disorder and PTSD that we had talked about previously. But as a result of being homeschooled, Bianca was able to devote more time to her online personas.
Yeah, not necessarily a good thing.
Now, in her own mind, her real self was a disappointment and not good enough. But she could become her most idealized self when she was online.
It's the same reason people play role-playing games, you know?
That's true. That's 100% true. Now, some of those accounts discuss drug use, eating disorders, and self-harm. But as previously stated, she wasn't 100% honest with people, so it's hard to know what she was being truthful about when she talked about these things on her blogs or online. It was also around this time that Bianca found the site 4chan.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Not 4chan.
And
I am unaware. Please educate.
Oh, you
go ahead. Take it away, Joyous.
4chan is, well, actually, like, I've never really used the website, but it has a reputation of just being an absolute cesspool of, like, unregulated internet, a place where there's no moderation and people can gather and say whatever they want.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
There's a lot of Nazi shit on there. There's a lot of child pedophilia on there. There's a lot of
God.
like
Yep.
just people discussing all manner of horrific shit, and there's really like there's just no rules.
Your description is better than what I had because it was literally like an anonymous image channel was what I found. So I'm glad you knew more than I did. So that's good.
Well, it's the kind of the default of what happens when there's an anonymous forum.
Most
You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, I think most internet sites are kind of anonymous since you can just make up a name, you know. I think
Right.
and I mentioned this before, I think we as a species fucked up when we invented the internet and didn't somehow make it so we could track people better. But
Yeah.
that box is open.
Yup. And unfortunately, there's like different spaces on the internet come to have different cultures, and 4chan is a real nasty one.
I've not gone on it, and I don't plan to.
I don't
but
think it exists anymore.
You know what,
That was
now-
my next question:
Yeah.
is whether or not it still runs.
No, I think you're right. I think it's been shut down because the dark web seems to be where everybody's going these days. Which how much longer will it be quote unquote dark? You know.
Oh, 4chan
all
does
all
still
the dark is
exist.
coming into the light. Nobody has shame anymore, and it's all just
Yeah.
twisted crap.
Did you just say 4chan still exists?
No,
It does
no, no.
still exist. I just
Oh, it
looked up.
does. Oh, crap.
Wow, terrifying. Okay, but anyway, let's move forward. So, as one of the few girls on the site, and because Bianca was an attractive girl and she was young, she became very popular there. Men became obsessed with her and became what is known as orbiters. Now, for those who don't know, an orbiter is someone who maintains his presence in another person's life without engaging in any meaningful interaction.
So like a follower.
Exactly, a follower. But they were referred to as orbiters for some reason here.
Sounds like a stalker.
Well, again,
Yeah.
I mean, that falls there too. But Bianca was too nice to these men, and she must have enjoyed their attention, because why else would she bother interacting with them, in my opinion? She's
Guilt.
just- Wait, what?
Guilt, I mean, and fear, because there's like, I mean, as I've experienced, as many women have experienced, that you can't just turn men down. It's not safe to just say no.
Oh, yeah.
And to be fair, this is the internet, so she's a little more safe. But then again, like,
Huh.
I don't know. There's a certain fear of like when you tell a man no, or just like leave me alone, that then you're gonna get crusaded against as like a bitch for not giving everyone the attention they want.
Interesting. See, again, I go back to when you're talking about this, I think about where I'm working right now. I have women that, you know, they're servers in a restaurant/bar. And if guys get too stupid, I'm quick to boot them out or call the police on them if necessary. So it's a little
Well, a
different
savior does not exist
on the
in all
internet.
of our
I know.
lives.
Yeah, I know.
Or in our daily lives, you know?
I know. I understand that part. I just, so yeah. So, okay. So maybe she didn't enjoy the attention, but I as we go, I think there was a little bit of that. But
She
That's true. There
enjoyed
could be-
she
there could be
enjoyed
a
it
little
more
bit
of
of
her
both.
more than her regular life.
yeah, I
That
would
is
give her
true.
that. Yeah. So these men would send gifts or money to the girls on these forums, and of course this included Bianca, but often they wanted nudes in exchange for what they sent.
Mm-hmm.
And in some cases, men would send these girls drugs as gifts.
Yup.
So obviously, the more expensive the gift that was sent to them, the more the men felt the girl owed them. Now, Bianca was 15, and she met an 18-year-old on one of these platforms, and the two of them eventually started dating. This unnamed boyfriend had a history of substance abuse, although it's unclear how much Bianca was partaking in that, lifestyle herself at this point. Bianca's mother said the pair were toxic, and for 2 years they would fight and break up and get back together, and even instances of Bianca running away from home to be with this guy.
Yikes.
Now, according to this boyfriend, Bianca felt that he was the only person who loved and understood her, which is why she tolerated all of his bullshit.
Yeah, it's very characteristic of borderline personality disorder to have one person be your person that you're absolutely fixated on, and to see everything in black and white that.
I can see that. So this same asshole of a boyfriend had a video recorded of the two of them having sex without her knowledge or consent.
Of course.
And after they broke up, he fucking posted it online.
Oh, saw that one coming.
So Bianca and her mother went to police, and as this fucker was not only did he post revenge porn, but it's child porn because she's only 15 when the video is made.
Oh, no.
However, Bianca stopped cooperating with police and dropped the charges after the boyfriend told her that the charges would ruin his life and that he would kill himself.
Oh, dear God.
Oh.
Manipulation and guilt and all that kinds of crap at play is just dirty.
All of it. I don't know how many times I've heard in my life a woman I know said, well, he said he'd kill himself. Well, fucking step away and see if he'd really do it. I know you don't want to see it happen, but 99% of the time they're not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Sidebar, have you ever had somebody ask you whether or not you were going to hurt yourself after a breakup?
Unfortunately, yes.
Also, yes.
Yeah.
I had that happen recently, and I don't know, I was weirded out by it because I was like, yes, this hurts, but I have so much more to live for. Why do you think that you're the end all be all?
But it's not. See, as someone who struggles with suicidal ideation on almost a daily level, it's not about the big moment. It's not about the breakup. So when I try to explain to people is what I go through is it's like little rocks getting thrown at me, right? And one rock by itself is no big deal. But that 100th rock, that 150th rock, after a while, shit starts to get to you. It's not about the breakup. It's about all the other shit that could eventually push you over that edge.
Okay. All right. I didn't see it that way. I just, maybe because it happened so soon after.
Right.
And I was just kind of like, why? What?
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. I want to clarify for any listeners out there. Yes, I suffer from suicidal ideation. And I literally every day I stop. There's a moments where I'm like, ugh, I don't really want to do this anymore. Right. But I'm never going to do it. I have these things. I have these things that I do that keep me from actually doing that. There are things about life that I love and I cling to those things and I move forward. Right. There's a way to do it. If anyone really needs that kind of help, reach out to us through our socials. I'll gladly have a conversation with you about it. But the simple truth is you learn how to navigate it and how to figure it out. But it doesn't stop me from thinking about it. And that's what I do a lot. But at the same time, if someone says to me, ugh, my God, my boyfriend said he's going to kill himself. He's probably not. Because as someone who thinks about shit like that, I'm never going to announce it.
Right. And when someone's already like a controller, a manipulator, an abuser, if he's already posted your video of you as a 15-year-old having sex online, yeah, he's doing that to control you.
Exactly.
Everything's about control.
So, yeah. So sorry about our tangent there again, but you know what? That's what we do best, I think.
Hey, they may love
Yeah.
our tangents. I mean, they're
Some of
quite
them-
informative and they're entertaining.
and you get to know us a little better. But yeah, some people definitely love them. But for those who don't, I'm sorry. But here we go.
Dowie.
So when Bianca began dating this fucker again, her mother took action. She placed Bianca on a persons in need supervision hold, which put her on house arrest with an ankle monitor.
Oh, that must have been awful.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's helpful.
Well, Bianca cut the thing off and ran off to be with this boyfriend.
Of
yeah,
course.
that's I figured would happen.
Yeah, I appreciate the idea, but that wasn't really going to work.
Wait, how'd she
Yeah.
cut it off? Aren't those things like impenetrable?
I have no idea. There's no further information on that.
Probably posted on 4chan how to remove ankle monitor.
Right? I'm sure there's a YouTube video, right? So eventually, Bianca was placed in a hospital in Albany, New York, where she began to make serious improvements to her mental health. In February of 2019, Bianca was home, healthier, and was beginning to flourish. She intended to study psychology at Mohawk Valley Community College in Utica, New York. She began to reconnect with friends, and everything was moving in the right direction. It is believed that Bianca met a man named Brandon Clark on Instagram in April of 2019 after he started following her on that social media platform. So we have to spend a little bit of time now talking about Brandon Clark, but only a little bit, because as one of those fuckers that wants to be famous for his actions, we're only
Oh,
going to
God.
give him as little as we can. Because,
I was going to say, is he even worth the time?
well, we need to talk about it a little bit, but in the end, yeah, fuck this guy. So Brandon Clark was born on October 6, 1997. His childhood was...
Infant.
What's that?
I said infant.
Yeah, he's as young as she
Child.
is. Yeah, they're young. His childhood was traumatic, as he once witnessed his father holding his mother at knife point for several hours.
Whoa.
Yeah. Bianca
That's really awful.
Bianca met Clark first in person at her graduation party. Upon meeting Clark, her mother, Kimberly, said that he seemed very nice and was polite. Police described their friendship as a, quote, personally intimate one, unquote, but her family and friends claimed that it was otherwise. But this, as we go, it's going to be tough to distinguish here. You can kind of see why there'd be some speculation, why there'd be some, I don't know, confusion. So Bianca told her mother that she had explained to Clark that she did not want to date him, though Bianca's mother thought that he still wanted more, which, let's be honest, when a guy is friend-zoned, of course they want more.
Always.
Yeah. So one of Bianca's sisters called Clark a trusted family friend, but a friend of Bianca's feared that Clark was exploiting her sexually while the two were under the influence of drugs. Reportedly, Clark would supply drugs to Bianca to entice her to spend time with him. Again, this goes back to maybe she was getting drugs from the ex-boyfriend. Maybe she was participating. Maybe she was addicted and nobody really knew. And maybe this guy exploited that. Tough to say. I do find it believable that she may have been having sex with him but not interested in dating him. But maybe not. The world is set up the way it is so that, in my opinion, it's okay for a woman to say yes and it's okay for a woman to say no. And it's okay to do both in the same fucking hour. You know?
Yep.
As of so on Saturday, July 13th, 2019, as that day approached, Bianca wrote on Discord about how excited she was to be traveling the 250 miles from upstate New York to a concert in Queens. Bianca, Clark, and a mutual friend named Alex were going to attend a performance by Canadian-American singer-songwriter Nicole Dollanganger. Yeah, Dollanganger.
I don't know that one.
I didn't know it either. And I looked it up, and it is that kind of creepy, ethereal kind of music. Enya comes to mind. I don't know if you're familiar
Okay.
with her.
Oh, okay.
It's creepy. It's emotional. It's got this, I don't know. It's cool sounding. Nothing that I could drive down the street listening to, It's not. Maybe if I was really sad and I was sitting in a dark room kind of thing. But yeah, so I did listen because I was curious because I never heard of Nicole Dollanganger. Anyway, so Clark drove himself and Bianca to that show. Now, Bianca had been interested in having something between her and Alex. And during the show, she kissed him twice. Now, after the show, Bianca sent a text to Alex stating that she thought Clark might have seen them kiss. And on the drive back to Utica, things would take a dark turn.
Oh, no.
Bianca had fallen asleep in the back seat, and Clark pulled over off the highway and went down a deserted road.
Oh, God.
He set up a camera somewhere on his dashboard, somewhere in the front, and video recorded everything that was to come.
No.
Oh.
Taking a knife that he had hidden in the car, Clark woke Bianca. The two engaged in an argument regarding the kiss between Bianca and Alex. Bianca told him that she was sorry about the kiss, but Clark said, quote, "Well, sorry is not enough," unquote.
Ooh.
Bianca then explained to him that they were not in an exclusive relationship and asked him to take her home. At that point, Clark attacked her and sliced her neck with the knife. He was asking, "Why did you make me do this?" as Bianca fought for her life.
Ugh.
Sadly, Bianca died in the early morning hours of July 14th. Her body, nearly decapitated, was left in the car as Clark built a bonfire and listened to the song Test Drive by Joji, similar style of music. After Bianca's death, Clark called numerous family members. The calls he was making resembled like a suicide note, which prompted his family to call 911. Clark then posted onto Instagram, "Here comes hell. It's redemption, right?" And apparently that's a quote from a rock song.
Huh.
The next image he shared was far more disturbing. It was a blurry photograph captioned, quote, "I'm sorry, Bianca," and it appeared to show her bloody torso.
Holy shit.
Oh.
Yeah, these images are brutal to look at. I do not recommend anyone doing so unless you
They're
really...
still up?
You can find them if you dig deep enough, yeah.
Holy crap.
Before this moment, his Instagram account, which, we're not going to name. If you really want it, go look it up, was mostly used to catalog selfies and post about music and art. But he started posting this shit everywhere. He posted photographs of Bianca's body to Discord, accompanied by the caption, "Sorry, fuckers, you're going to have to find someone else to orbit," unquote.
What the
Oh
fuck?
my God.
The images were showing the full extent of her injuries to her throat and made clear that her wounds had been fatal. Screenshots from this now deleted private chat on Discord, apparently used by friends of hers, showed that he shared the image at 6 a.m.
Oh.
He also posted the video of the murder. As concerned,
That's awful.
it's fucked up. Can you imagine just opening up your social media and there's your fucking friend being murdered?
Absolutely not.
I
No way.
can't. There's just
It's so fucked up. So as concerned friends scrambled to work out if the photos were real, he continued to post offensive content in the group. Members of the group started to take screenshots of the messages and of his Snapchat account and started raising the alarm. By 7
as
a.m.
they should.
By 7 a.m., police received numerous calls, including one from Clark himself, and they made contact with Bianca's family. In his phone call to the dispatcher, Clark said, "My name is Brandon. The victim is Bianca Michelle Devins, and I'm not going to stay on the phone for long because I still need to do the suicide part of this murder-suicide."
What the fuck?
Scumbag. When an
It's like just deranged.
it's beyond fucked up. Like, who, again, it goes back to, who do you think you are? Like, nobody gives a
Right.
shit about you. Like, and that's exactly why he's doing it. It's so fucking twisted. This is the kind of guy who deserved to have his ass kicked every day.
Mm-hmm.
So when the police tracked him down to a wooded area at the end of a residential road, he stabbed himself in the neck. He laid...
Oh,
Ooh,
okay.
that's you don't hear that very often.
No. He then laid down on top of a tarp, and which police said he had placed over Bianca's body, all the while continuing to post more images online.
What the fuck? I hate
So-
it.
Premeditated suicide?
He was hoping, yeah, because there is body cam footage of this. It's blurry. It's because it's from a distance when he does most of this, so it's really hard to make out. But yeah, this fucking guy wanted this to be everywhere. So after a brief struggle, he was arrested and taken to a hospital. A day later, after emergency surgery, he was charged with Bianca's murder. A suicide note was found at the scene that he sprayed on the ground in spray paint that read, "May you never forget me."
Ew.
Go
Fuck
off.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, guy.
Truly go fuck yourself.
So the next day, police confirmed that the victim was Bianca and charged him with second-degree murder. And having, quote, had a knife and equipment to videotape the killing, unquote, authorities reported the possibility that he had planned the murder. So even though he's being charged with second degree, they really want to push for first-degree murder, which, yes, absolutely. So Police Sergeant Michael Curley believed that Clark desired fame, which is why he did it, which may or may not be true. I think part of it's true, but I also think he wanted to possess Bianca.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of reasons.
Yeah, he's definitely not right in the head.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah, that was an understatement of the night. Yeah.
Truly.
Oneida County Assistant District Attorney Sarah DeMellier stated that he gave various explanations for the killing to multiple people. So he's basically not even keeping his own story straight. He had made online searches to how to find the carotid artery? Carotid,
No.
thank you. On how to find the carotid artery, how to incapacitate or kill someone, and general searches of choking and hanging.
Yeah.
A side of premeditation, sir.
Yeah.
In the following days, Bianca's story spread across the world, as did the violent images of her death.
Oh.
Her murder, which played out incredibly publicly, placed scrutiny on how social media companies police extreme content. Instagram never confirmed when it received the first reports about the violent images on Clark's public story. But as the day rolled on, word began to spread beyond just her social group, and it was clouded with misinformation. By that evening, users on Twitter had started to talk about it and share the Instagram posts as well. Other users implored people to avoid watching this asshole story and report his account.
Mm-hmm.
From the outset, users said that attempts to report this were being rejected for not violating Instagram's terms.
Holy hell.
This is 2019. It's not that long ago.
No, not at all.
And it's fucked.
When approached by the BBC, Instagram did not say how long the original post on his story had been allowed to stay up, but screenshots suggested that they were made available for at least 20 hours.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Which is crazy, because if you posted an image like of yourself in, like, I don't know, if a woman posted images of herself in lingerie that was even slightly revealing, it would never even make it. But somehow,
Right.
But these gory images, no problem. 20 hours, there you go.
Yeah, you post a hint of a nip, and they'll have it down like their AI algorithm will take it down.
Exactly. But no, my God, someone with her cut so bad to her neck that she's almost decapitated. No problem. That didn't violate our whatever.
Fucked.
So Dr. James Densley, a professor of criminal justice in Minnesota, said this kind of public violence carried the risk of secondary trauma for viewers and also re-victimized Bianca herself.
Mm-hmm.
He said, quote, "We have this term for people to rest in peace. Really, she can't, because she's living in this sort of perpetual infamy online every time her image is shared," unquote.
Yeah, he's right.
I just want to go on, after hearing that, I want to go on record and say, I hope that people's souls aren't actually trapped like that. That would fucking suck.
Oh,
that would be
hate to
tragic
think
as
of
hell.
that.
So some of the first people to discuss the murder were users on the website 4chan. And as we've discussed, this is a barely moderated internet message board where they can say whatever the fuck they want.
Mm-hmm.
So users on the forum discussed her death in offensive and misogynistic terms, victim blaming, and even photoshopping the images, the graphic images, into sadist or sadistic memes.
I wish I was surprised, but that sounds like 4chan.
Yeah, I guess I as someone who's not as familiar, I guess I was more shocked.
Yeah.
So by that Monday following her death, when police confirmed the images of Bianca were real, the case had already spilled from the fringes of the internet out into mainstream social media. Now, for hours, the hashtag RIP Bianca even trended on Twitter all across the U.S. As the story proliferated, some people inevitably tried to search for the accounts and images being mentioned in their newsfeed. With this attention, the number of Bianca's Instagram followers started to explode. Amazingly, this is the part I don't get. She had about 2,000 followers before her death, but within a week, it had ballooned up to 160,000 people.
Holy crap.
I don't understand why you would start following a person who's no longer alive on Instagram. Obviously, you're not going to get any new content.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to do. I don't really get it.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to know what she was like beforehand.
It's like you don't have to follow to do that.
Exactly. Just search her and go through it. And if you want, I guess you could save it somehow to like revisit it, but you're never, why follow it? She's never going to post another new thing. It's like on
just to say that you could, I guess.
But like, it's like,
yeah, it's weird though.
see, I've had people die in my life and I haven't like unfriended their Facebook accounts, but I also don't go there very often. There's nothing new there. All I'm ever going to see if I were to do it would be someone saying how much they missed them, as if somehow people are checking their Facebook account in heaven or something. It's weird to me.
Yeah.
Now,
People cope in all sorts of ways, I guess.
And I get it. For example, family members, I have family members who passed away, and I have other family members who will post publicly on Facebook saying how much they miss this individual, and sometimes they address them directly, but that's not really for the person to see. That's just to tell the world, hey, I'm really missing my uncle right now or something. And that just generates, people reconnecting to talk. That's how I look at that.
Yeah.
But I am not one of those people, so I don't know. Unfortunately, Brandon Clark's account also attracted attention. Despite his profile being edited to reflect his suicidal intentions at some point during the attack, Instagram did not deactivate it until police confirmed his identity more than a day after the murder. By that time, his following had grown by thousands, and his profile was inundated with comments. Now, some people capitalized on Bianca's murder, which had already played out so publicly, and they used it as an opportunity to gain followers. Literally posting shit.
People fucking suck.
They were literally posting shit like, follow me, DM me for the full video and pictures, and shit like that.
Dear God.
Gross. People are so gross.
So others even tried to trick people into seeing cruel memes or even products that they were trying to sell. Kind of like, hey, buy this and you'll get this video. Fucking assholes. I can't stand it. One person behind these accounts, when challenged in a message about their motivations, said that they had changed their name, like their username, so that they could kind of keep hiding who they were because they felt a little guilty for the victim and her family.
Wow.
But of course, after vowing to stop, within an hour, they changed their username again and reverted back to doing their bullshit.
Oh my dear God.
This case brought out the worst of people, in my opinion. And
Yeah, it sounds like some really hollow, petty bullshit.
it's ridiculous. As another person emulating the suspect's username, Brandon Clark's username, told the BBC they did so for social media clout. That people will, and
Gross.
literally they said after being caught doing this, that people will do anything to gain followers and popularity. People that were doing this, changing their usernames to his name, amassed more than 1,000 follower requests.
They're so nasty.
People suck. I don't understand where our world turned. Maybe it was always like this. We just didn't have the access to each other to realize
I
it.
think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think people are especially bad now. I think we are especially exposed to it.
Yeah, fucking awful. So Instagram claimed it was reviewing hashtags and accounts where people were claiming to share the graphic content, and to their credit, most of these appear to have been removed. I couldn't find any of it on Instagram itself. So there's that. Now, Dr. Densley said cases like Bianca's expose the weird incentive structures that exist across social media that we use every day. He said the entire enterprise is built on the number of likes or retweets and friends or followers that you can accumulate, explaining that people who perpetuate violence online see the value because it brings infamy.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fucked up. And
All press is good press.
And I've seen something like this on YouTube because I follow a lot of channels on YouTube, and sometimes it's like, check out the 10 best cities of whatever, but they don't have nearly as many views as check out the worst 10 cities for whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucked up how we work.
Yeah, we respond so much more to negativity.
So this doctor also said that those who view these violent images then face a choice. Do they report it? Do they ignore it and pretend they didn't see it? Do they capture it in their own way and then try to share it themselves? It's so when I read that, I was like, man, this world is fucked.
Yeah.
So the proliferation of images from Bianca's murder renewed scrutiny in the way social media is policed day to day. So sites like Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook do have human moderators, but they rely on AI technology to report users, from their systems. The scale of their memberships, which include Instagram's case of 1 billion users a month, make this an overwhelming challenge.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Social media companies reiterated their commitment to their community guidelines since Bianca's death. Despite this, though, some graphic content still slips through. You can even still find, and I've said this before, you can even still find the most graphic photographs of Bianca's body if you search long and hard enough.
I'm sure you can. You can't get rid of anything that's on the internet.
No, once it's there, it's there. They do the best. And we're going to talk about something that was really cool that her family did. In the early days after her murder, Bianca's stepmother condemned those sharing the images as disgusting. She said, quote, "I will forever have these images in my mind when I think of her. When I close my eyes, those images haunt me," she posted on Facebook, urging everyone to consider the feelings of her family and report that content.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, there's too many fucked up people, and most people are just going to use it to their advantage.
Agreed.
It's so sad.
Even Nicole Dollenganger, she publicly asked people to stop sharing the photos. Now, I'm going to say that was really cool of her to do that. That was pretty cool. You don't see too many rock stars or musical artists stopping to do that, so I give Nicole here credit. So many others have gone even further, demonstrating how online communities can act as a force for good. An online spamming war had been launched against those trying to exploit Bianca's death. accounts have sprung up to flood with hashtags being used to share the graphic images and cruel memes of Bianca. But what ends up happening is tens of thousands of people started posting pastel-colored cloudscapes, flowers, hearts, and photos of cute animals using those same hashtags to kind of help filter out all of the horrific images.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So now if you search for those, which again, I'm not going to share because I don't want anyone to look these up, but you would find, and you can find it just looking up her name, you're going to get these beautiful and cute images before you get to the graphic ones. So most of those accounts, the ones with the animals and the flowers and the cloudscapes, appear to be run by girls of a similar age of Bianca. And often those accounts come with offers of emotional support and give you numbers and other things for guidance on how to report the upsetting content.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a great move. It was something I would never have thought of. Although it does remind me of when the Black Lives Matter movement, I think it was the one where people were sharing, they were like posting the black image and it was like hashtag Black Lives Matter. Is that the one? Is that? And
Yeah, it was like Blackout Tuesday or whatever.
something like that. But what it ended up doing, because they were using a hashtag that was taking away from information on how to contact certain like groups, and suddenly people that were trying to like reach out to various groups for help or something couldn't find the information because suddenly everything they saw were just black images when they searched. It was really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was actually like very counterproductive and very like not well thought out.
Yeah, and I understand the thought was there, but yeah. So this, I like that it was actually it accomplished its job. I give them credit for that. So Bianca's mother, Kimberly, is among those from her family who have embraced the hashtag Pink for Bianca on their social media accounts. In a statement, she said, "My heart is completely shattered, having lost my best friend. We will always remember her beautiful smile that lit up our lives. Her spirit will strengthen us and live on forever." As they prepared for Bianca's funeral, her family also launched a scholarship in her name in the hopes that others can fulfill Bianca's dream of helping young people with mental illness. Kimberly thanked those who shared support for her family and implored people to continue to spread the message of love, not violence, in her daughter's name. A vigil for Bianca was held on July 15th, 2019, and her funeral took place 4 days later on July 19th. Another vigil was held in July of 2020. On February 14th of 2020, a fashion and art show displaying Bianca's artwork was held. Week-long counseling sessions were offered to all the students at her former high school. Clark's behavior fit the profile of other violent male offenders and speculated that he felt emasculated and wanted to show his strength. He pled not guilty to second-degree murder on July 29th, 2019. He was later charged with promoting prison contraband after correctional officers found a shiv constructed out of a toothbrush in his cell. I imagine someone stabbing him with that.
I hope so many people did.
Yeah, I hope they do it every day. I hope he's still alive and they're stabbing him every day. This asshole also composed a letter to a friend around this time where he was bragging about what he had done and noting how it felt to kill someone.
I hate when people do that.
This letter reportedly explained his motive, because again, he changed his motive numerous times. He said he couldn't handle the thought of her walking out of his life.
So if he can't have her, nobody can?
Basically, that old fucking incel justification.
Garbage. Yeah, I hate it.
I do too. It's so fucking stupid. So on February 10th...
Yeah, I don't want to hear that fucking bullshit.
No, never again. And whenever I hear someone even remotely talking like that, I'm like, are you listening to yourself? They never do. On February 10th, 2020, before his trial, Clark changed his plea to guilty. His sentencing was scheduled for April 7th, but was delayed because of COVID-19. On June 2nd, he filed a notice to withdraw his guilty plea, claiming his lawyer had failed him.
What?
The court denied this as he had already admitted his guilt. So his hearing took place on September 30th, and a written decision was drawn up on October 30th. On March 16th of 2021, Brandon Clark was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison, and he has formally expressed his remorse for his actions, which, go fuck yourself, guy.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that.
It doesn't mean anything. Those are crocodile tears.
Yeah. So Bianca's mother, alongside then Congressman Anthony Brindisi, called for increased action to be taken by social media companies in regard to graphic content. And on September 21st, 2020, Brindisi and Bianca's family introduced Bianca's Law. If passed, all social media platforms with more than $10 million in revenue and over 100,000 monthly users would be required to establish an office dedicated to identifying and removing violent content that violate the platform's moderation standards. There's no information as to whether or not that actually is 100% through, although parts of it have been.
I know that's true of a lot of websites.
Right. I mean, some of it got through. Parts of it were signed into law in December of 2022. Obviously, mostly too late for most things, but it's unclear how much of it, and that's what I don't like.
Yeah.
In July of 2021, Bianca's family sued the Oneida County District Attorney's Office, accusing them of distribution of child pornography.
What?
Get this shit. They learned from the producers of a documentary on the murder that those documentarians had received from the district attorney's office the footage of Bianca's death and the footage of her having sex with that ex-boyfriend when she was only 15 years old.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
They even gave these documentarians the contents of her fucking cell phone, which included nude photos.
What the fuck?
Absolutely fucking crazy. Now, allegedly, a YouTube blogger was also given these items in response to a Freedom of Information Act request.
Pretty sure that's not included in that.
I mean, it is because it's part of the trial. But you shouldn't be giving that shit out. I can't walk into a police department and ask to see the graphic murder photos of anybody. So why?
Yeah, no.
It's crazy to me. And that's the case of Bianca Devins. Like, that's where this kind of ends. That was the most recent stuff that came out.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I can't even imagine just even saying, hey, I'm putting a documentary together. Can I access this crazy shit that I should never see? That blows my mind.
I'd tell you to go fuck off.
Exactly. But somehow they turned it over. And so far, there's no more information about whether or not the family successfully sued the county or not. But I think they should. I think they should win that.
Yeah.
Fucking A. Can you imagine, Joyous, if the stuff on your private phone was handed out to people publicly?
Yeah, awful. Awful.
And I say that because you're the only woman in our trio here. But like I don't keep nudes of myself on my phone. I don't take nudes of myself because I'm a dude and I don't want to look at that stuff. But like, not that kind of guy. But like, so I'm not saying that you do, but of the three of us, I'd have to guess you're probably the most likely.
Yeah, I'm a woman in my 20s. There's that shit on my phone.
Yeah,
Let's be real.
It's part of the currency of your age group. We get that.
It is.
Yeah, we get that. So, but like, that shouldn't be available to everyone. That's not
absolutely
okay.
not. Privacy is so important,
especially after your death. That's crazy too.
Yeah, I would just be like, that would be really sad if my family had to see that.
Exactly. And maybe her family didn't see it, but just knowing it was handed out there, oh my God.
Is gross. It is so gross.
The idea of it just upsets me. But yes, so thank you everybody for joining us once again. We will see you soon. I am Janus Dead.
I'm Jameson Dead.
And I'm Joyous Dead.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye!